of Gaza, right along the border, a place they now call Point Alpha. And that was the first checkpoint. It's checkpoint A, B, and C. Checkpoint C, you might know, is checkpoint Charlie. So the Cold War was a very divisive time in the world, and what you had here was, this is really one of the fulcrum points, one of the epicenters of the Cold War. Many people thought that this would be the spot, if anything, of a new invasion between the Soviets and the Americans.
If there was going to be a World War III, it would start here in the area known as the Fulda Gap. And both armies were on high alert at all times.
So initially, you had a green border, which was a very passable border, no big deal, right after World War II, when there was more cooperation initially between the United States and the Soviet Union. But in 1961, things changed, and the GDR, along with the support of the Soviet Union, decided to crack down and enhance the division, because so many people were leaving the Soviet Union, trying to escape the horrors of communism and come to freedom in the Western side. So in order to stop that, to win the propaganda war, you increase the size of the fence and thus, and it worked, stop the flow of refugees. It's kind of a creepy feeling as you walk in these areas now, free and able to do things. Meanwhile, people not too long ago, from the 60s, the 70s, 80s, were struggling to survive. Many families were separated because some people were trapped inside little towns that were in the demilitarized zone, so they weren't allowed to really do anything or go anywhere. And it wasn't an easy existence for all involved until finally peaceful revolutions led to the end and the destruction of the wall and of this Iron Curtain. So could you imagine yourself trying to escape East Germany with the watchtowers behind you, and then trying to make your way through a field of landmines, and then finally get across bunkers, across dogs, and then two fences that are electric, and they also have automatic weapons that will fire rounds of pellets at you to cripple you. And most of the time, you're just gonna be left there to die. So it wasn't easy. 1,000 people died trying to do it. There were a few that did make it across, believe it or not. So these are one of the bunkers that if you were trying to escape, you might not even see this here. And then the German guard might come out and shoot you, because they had orders to shoot and kill. Here's up close and personal of the fence. No one would really get up this close back then. You'd get shot and killed if you even made it this far. But if you did happen to get here, the fence itself, it's very hard to even get your fingers into the fence to even climb this thing. Not to mention the barbed wire that's going to be up top. It's not here right now, but to try to get up and over this fence is extremely difficult and very rare, especially with German guards ready to take you out. If you were lucky enough to make it over that fence, through the dogs, past the minefields, past the bunkers, past the guards, and you're not free yet. You still got one little area to get through until you can cross this pillar right here. And once you step across the other side of that, you are now free. Yeah.
This is the 1-mile strip of land that divided East and West Germany and was one of the most tense and highly militarized borders in world history. Wolfgang Crispin, a former West German border guard, shared his thoughts and memories of life guarding what was called the Death Strip. Every attempt to cross the border would have ended in serious injuries or even death. Crispin goes on to discuss how the environment was destroyed for the East German border defense. They cleared the forest to have a clear view of the border and placed landmines to prevent escapes. They also placed miles and miles of cement slabs to prevent vehicles from crossing over the border.
Just a reminder, Wolfgang just said, very poetically, only the birds had freedom here.
However, since German reunification in 1990, a healthy biosphere and greenbelt has developed, which Crispin believes is a symbol of peace. He took us to Weisenfeld Tower, an East German command tower that is preserved as a reminder of the horrors of the Cold War division of Germany. Here, He discussed the controversial death of East German Captain Rudi Arnstadt. The 36-year-old commander was in charge of expanding border installations when on August 14, 1962 at 11 a.m., he spotted two West German guards very close to the border and ordered them to halt with your hands up. There are different accounts as to what happens next. Crispin, who witnessed the incident, says that Rudi Arnstadt and one of his men fired 2 shots at the West Germans, and in self-defense, Hans Pluschka, a 23-year-old border guard, shot back, hitting Rudi Arnstadt through the right eye, killing him instantly. The East German government, however, claimed that this was an unprovoked, cowardly murder and used his death for propaganda against the West. Rudi Arnstadt's death angered East German guards and may have led to the tragic death of Peter Fechter in Berlin, who 3 days later, on August 17, 1962, was shot at the wall trying to escape. He lay there wounded for over an hour, but was left to die while both sides watched. These 2 deaths created a bitterness between East and West that still lingers on today. In 1997, Hans Pluschka publicly revealed that he was the one who shot Rudi Arnstadt. Not even a year later, on March 18, 1998, 36 years after the death of Rudi Arnstadt, Hans was mysteriously killed near the site of the incident, and just like Rudi Arnstadt, he was shot in the right eye. Today, there are still many memorials that honor Rudi Arnstadt. Wolfgang Crispin believes that these memorials are significant because all of those involved, both East and West, were victims of an unfortunate time in history.